Picture this. The stadium lights are blinding. The roar of the crowd is literally a physical force vibrating right through your chest. We're talking slow-motion moments of pure, unfiltered agony, followed by absolute ecstasy. Imagine the weight of an entire nation resting squarely on the shoulders of just 11 men out on the pitch. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are chronicling a cinematic, highly emotional story of chaos, of heartbreak, and a desperate, against-all-odds chase for football glory. This is the story of Bafana Bafana, South Africa's completely unpredictable, treacherous road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Let's get right into it.
Look, to understand exactly where South Africa is heading, you have to feel where they've been. Take your mind back to June 11th, 2010. Soccer City, Johannesburg. The eyes of the entire world are locked on the first ever World Cup held on African soil. The ball finds Siphiwe Tshabalala out on the left flank. He unleashes an absolute thunderbolt past Mexico's Oscar Perez. The net ripples, and commentator Peter Drury delivers a line that honestly still gives any real football fan instant goosebumps. Goal Bafana Bafana. Goal for all of Africa. Rejoice. Man, it wasn't just a goal. It was this moment of pure global unity, celebrated with that beautifully choreographed dance on the touchline that made the whole world smile.
And orchestrating that massive, historic moment was a soundtrack unlike anything we've ever heard. The vuvuzela. Those plastic horns weren't just loud, okay? They were weaponized passion. Scientific measurements actually recorded them at a terrifying 131 decibels at the horn opening. Think about that for a second. That is literally louder than a thunderclap. It's louder than a chainsaw running right next to you. Legally, without hearing protection, you aren't even supposed to be exposed to that for more than a single minute. But for a full 90 minutes, that deafening, relentless roar became the heartbeat of an entire nation. But, the pedigree of Bafana Bafana was forged long before that 2010 World Cup. Let's talk about the Mandela glory days and how a nation rises. The timeline of South African football is just this chaotic, beautiful roller coaster. You've got 1996, where they were the undisputed kings of Africa. Then 2010, the pride of the entire world. And then, years of wandering in the wilderness before a sudden dramatic resurgence that saw them reach the 2024 AFCON semifinals. They are a squad completely defined by staggering highs and absolutely agonizing lows. But it all really started with that massive 1996 triumph. So picture the 1996 Africa Cup of Nations on home soil. Nelson Mandela had publicly laid down the gauntlet. He literally called Coach Clive Barker directly to remind him of the immense pressure to win. Now it's the final against Tunisia. It's 0-0. The tension in the stadium is suffocating. Striker Mark Williams had been left out at the starting lineup, and to say he was furious is an understatement. He's pacing the touchline, warming up, and he is actually shouting out to the crowd, demanding they tell the coach to put him in. Barker finally caves in the 65th minute, and what happens? Williams scores in the 73rd minute. 2 minutes later, he scores again. A left-footed finish that sends Mandela sitting up in the VIP seats into absolute delirium. South Africa were champions. But as we all know in football, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. Heartbreak and heavy setbacks. The fall. The decades following that golden era really tested the very soul of Bafana Bafana. If you want to know what real pain looks like for South Africa, just look at their bitter, agonizing rivalry with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. In the 2000 AFCON semifinals, Nigeria totally shattered South African dreams. Fast forward 24 years, the 2024 AFCON semifinals. It's a tense 1-1 draw, and then the crushing, inescapable agony of a penalty shootout. Nigerian goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali, who, ironically enough, actually plays his club football in South Africa, saves 2 penalties, sending South Africa crashing out. Time and time again, just when Bafana Bafana reached out to touch glory, it was snatched right away. But sometimes, the worst wounds of all are the self-inflicted ones, and nothing stings quite like an administrative disaster. 3-0. That is the official scoreline of a catastrophic FIFA forfeit that very nearly derailed their entire 2026 World Cup qualification campaign. Here's the crazy part. South Africa actually beat Lesotho on the pitch. They were sitting pretty right at the top of Group C, coasting toward automatic qualification. But they fielded midfielder Teboho Mokoena. The problem? Mokoena had picked up 2 yellow cards in previous qualifiers. He was legally suspended.
Because of this massive administrative blind spot, FIFA stripped them of the win, handed them a 3-0 forfeit loss, slapped them with a 10,000 Swiss franc fine, and plunged Bafana Bafana right behind Benin on goal difference. Just like that, their smooth road to North America turned into a terrifying tightrope walk. It's moments exactly like this that define the true character of a team. Will they collapse under the weight of their own mistakes, or will they rise from the ashes? Hey, if you are loving this deep dive into the tactical and emotional roller coaster of South African football, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, share this explainer with a fellow football fanatic, and make absolutely sure you are subscribed. We're tracking every massive underdog story in the beautiful game, and trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming up next. All right, so who are the men actually tasked with pulling off this miracle? Let's look at the next golden generation, a squad reborn. Enter tactician Hugo Broos. The Belgian manager who broke a 16-year World Cup drought is piecing together something really special. The true strength of this team lies in its defensive spine. It's this perfect cinematic blend of battle-tested grit and explosive youth. In goal, you have the captain, Ronwen Williams. At 34, he is the absolute rock of this team, totally forged in the intense fires of the CAF Champions League. And right in front of him, the future, Mbekazeli Bukazi, a 20-year-old defensive prodigy who just enjoyed a meteoric rise to the Chicago Fire in Major League Soccer. It's the veteran general paired with the rising star, locking down that backline. And controlling the entire tempo is the man right at the center of the storm, Teboho Mokoena. Remember that catastrophic forfeit we were just talking about? Yeah, Mokoena was the ineligible player. Now he is on a relentless, deeply personal quest for redemption. He is the absolute engine of this midfield. We're talking about a player with incredible technical mastery, pinpoint precision passing, and this absolute fierce refusal to let his nation down again. He's literally carrying the emotional weight of a whole country on his back. But look, being defensively sound just isn't enough at this level. You have to score goals. And that heavy burden falls almost squarely on Lyle Foster. The Burnley striker is Bruce's main attacking weapon. His link-up play, his incredible aerial threat, his darting runs right behind the defense, it's all world class. But the reality is, South Africa really struggles for depth up top. Foster has to deliver. Every single time he touches the ball, the hopes of millions are riding right on his boots. Which brings us to the monumental tactical mountain waiting for them in North America, chasing the 2026 dream, the ultimate test. Welcome to Group A. Guys, this is a brutal, terrifying gauntlet. First up, you have the co-hosts, Mexico, coming in as the heavy favorites. Then you have Czechia, bringing that fierce, highly disciplined European tactical structure. You've got South Korea, possessing just blistering, world-class attacking pace. And then, well, you have South Africa, the undeniable rank outsiders. Remember, they have never made it out of a World Cup group stage in their entire history. So exactly how does the world view them right now? Plus, 100,000. Those are literally 1,000 to 1 odds to win the World Cup. That represents an implied probability of about 0.1%. The betting markets, the pundits, the international media, they have basically already written Bafana Bafana off. Everyone expects them to just bow out quietly after 3 matches. But you know what? Football isn't played on paper. If you could see those locker room scenes, the focus is intense. The tactics are dialed in. Hugo Broos has a very specific survival strategy. The tactical blueprint is crystal clear. Absorb the heavy pressure with that rock-solid defense anchored by Williams and Bukazi, and then strike like absolute lightning on the counterattack. They are going to utilize the dizzying, dribbling speed of youngsters like Orlando Pirates' Oswin Apolis and Relebohila Mofokeng to try and shock these giants. They don't need 70% possession. They just need precision and pure, unbreakable heart. The stage is set across North America. The odds are stacked incredibly, impossibly high against them. But if history has taught us anything at all about South African football, it's that when their backs are firmly against the wall, when the whole world doubts them, well, that is exactly when the magic happens. Can they defy those crazy 1,000 to 1 odds? Can they finally break the group stage curse and shock the globe? I want to hear from you. Who are you supporting in the 2026 World Cup? Get down in the comments right now and let your voice be heard. Until next time, keep watching, keep believing, and keep loving the beautiful game.
So, did you find today's explainer useful?
Then definitely drop a like, share it out, and subscribe to join the family.
Tell us, what should we explore next? Stay well.